I first accessed mental health support in 4th grade at 9 years old. I was referred to the local youth mental health provider by a school counselor due to behavioral issues. I was put in anger management for a few years and then declared fixed once the school counselor was removed due to lack of funding. I began visibly struggling again once supports were removed, and eventually this led to me accessing anxiety support through the same provider. The treatment plan was difficult for me to understand, and nothing really seemed to be helping. I continued being misdiagnosed with various forms of anxiety and depression, as well as BPD. At 16, I was nonverbal in almost all settings for an entire year. Although adults in my life noticed the change, they figured it was a phase and chose not to address it. I started searching for tips and explanations myself and was continually finding results for autistic folks. I started using the autism hacks, even though I felt guilty for aligning myself with a community that I thought I had no right to. I began to explore sensory play, eventually leading to a current project to increase sensory inclusion in my local community using the same provider I received support from as a child, now called Welkin. We are working on creating an inclusive environment and a social shift regarding sensory sensitivities and the benefit of sensory play, not only for autistics, but for all neurotypes. We are working to provide education to both youth and adults, sharing our physical space to encourage them to connect with their own bodies and realize that sensory play should not be stigmatized, as all bodies need it. We hope to break the cycle of youth being bullied out of sensory play and exploration, so they feel in, so they feel so that so they are more equipped to engage in self-directed grounding and capacity building. This is one way service providers can take very simple steps to create more inclusive environments in their space without requiring a diagnosis, as it is difficult for minority groups as well as assigned female at birth persons to be diagnosed. I was only recently diagnosed this past summer, though I have been self-identifying as autistic in accepting online communities for 3 years. We must do better to remember that regardless of diagnosis, we can do little things to create a more accessible environment. Other steps Welkin has taken to improve accessibility involve creating fidget bins and planning meetings with many seatings available and agreements of non-judgment so participants feel welcomed to move their bodies as needed and show listening, focus, and respect however suits their needs, as well as spreading information regarding nonverbal communication strategies. Although none of these require diagnosis, they can increase the support available for all folks accessing services. None of these strategies have drawbacks. They only increase opportunity for all. Thank you.